Hey guys, and welcome to Chapter 7 of MegaBat and Fancy Cat. Chapter 7 is called Stink Potion. As soon as Daniel and his parents left, MegaBat got to work. He began in the kitchen, letting his nose lead the way. Perfect! So whiffy, he said after he'd sniffed his way through the spices in the twirly rack and selected the smelliest ones. Next, he found a brown liquid with the aroma of fresh baked cookies. Which spice do you think that might be? It's a liquid, it's brown. Some green soap that smelled like crisp, juicy apples, and a pine coney cleaner from under the sink. He mixed these together, then added something called Moroccan mint extract. For an exotic dash of je ne sais pas, he said grandly to himself. Meanwhile, Priscilla sat in front of the glass doors that led from the kitchen to the backyard. She kept mewing and pawing at the glass, no doubt trying to distract him. You shush, MegaBat said as he worked the lid off a jar of pickles and poured the liquid into his concoction. He had no time to waste. If he could cover Priscilla with stink potion before the family returned, Daniel was sure to start sneezing. The family would assume it was that trouble cat he was allergic to, and just like Mrs. Cormier had done, they'd give her to another unfortunate family. Priscilla was pacing back and forth now, glaring over her shoulder at MegaBat with each mew. MegaBat groaned. How was he supposed to concentrate with so much noise? Shushing up, he said. But that only seemed to make that cat more determined. What's yours so muley about? He flapped over to see. Oh, peas, he said. The cat was watching the squirrels in the yard. Those are just being the puffer rats. There was the fat gray one and the scraggle-tailed black one. MegaBat noted with satisfaction that they weren't going anywhere near the seed place anymore. No doubt they'd been too frightened by the honking machine. Instead, they were on the opposite side of the yard. They's is digging holes, he explained impatiently. All they's ever does is digging holes. At least when theirs is doing that, theirs isn't stealing all the bird seeds. But his explanation didn't do anything to soothe the cat. Instead, she seemed to get even more out of sorts. The fur on her back stood up. MegaBat ignored her and got back to work. He said, inhaling deeply as he stirred in each new ingredient. Something green and gloopy from a jar, a mysterious black powder, a most delightful dash of colorful cake sprinkles. The sun was just beginning to go down outside when he decided his concoction was nearly complete. He sniffed. It just needed a final ingredient. He sang to himself. He opened the upper cabinet. Aha! His eyes landed on a big bottle of clearish, yellowish liquid. He sounded out the words on the label. Fish, say you see. He sniffed it and gagged. MegaBat worked the cap off, then scooted around behind the bottle and pushed it hard. It tipped and the liquid glugged out, splashing into the bowl and all over the counter and parts of the floor. When the bottle was completely empty, he flew down to the counter to stir again. Then he plucked a ladle from a jar on the counter with his talons, hovered above the bowl, and scooped up a generous portion of the goo. Coming here, kitty, he said. The cat was still transfixed by the puffer rats, which gave him the perfect opportunity. MegaBat swooped crazily across the kitchen with his ladle and dumped the sticky potion onto her back. When she leapt up and spun around trying to see what it was, he took the opportunity to go back for a second spoonful. But by the time he reached her, the cat was hissing and backing into a corner with her ears flattened. For a second, MegaBat thought he had her trapped. But then the cat darted around him and ran out of the kitchen. "Oh no, you're getting away so easy peasy." MegaBat flew after her through the dining room, through the living room, and into the front hall. He would have caught up with her too if it hadn't been for the fact that flying with a really heavy ladle made him clumsy. Plus, at just that moment, there was a jingling of keys in the front door. "We're home," Daniel announced. His dad opened the door, but before the family could step inside, the cat flew past them and straight down the icy porch steps. "Priscilla!" Daniel's mother dropped her shopping bag full of Christmas sweaters and tried to grab the cat. But it was too late. The last thing MegaBat saw before he hid behind a houseplant was the tip of a fluffy, chocolate brown tail disappearing out of sight. And that is the end of Chapter 7. Chapter 11 will be called Lost Cat. I bet you can predict what the chapter is about if the title is Lost Cat.